Hey everybody, it's your pal Mike Zombie, and this week we're going to talk about Juan de los Muertos, or Juan of the Dead from 2011. I'd actually emailed the trailer for this to McPierce probably 7-8 months ago or something like that, and I saw it somewhere online and I was like, man, I cannot wait for this to come out. And it is a really, really fun film. See, I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for a zombie film that changes it up a little bit, but in a fun way. I don't want to see like zombies from space, that kind of shit. I want it to bring it to me in a way I've not yet seen. Juan of the Dead absolutely delivered in that department. This film was made in Cuba, mostly Havana, and it's kind of odd. Think of the movies you've seen that were filmed in Havana. Yeah, not many, right? There's part of Godfather 2 obviously was filmed there, and some others, but not much has come out of Cuba, certainly not in horror or zombie. This is the only Cuban zombie film I think that exists that, has ever made its way to the shores. It's the story of Juan, obviously. And Juan's just a guy living life. He doesn't have real high goals. I mean, he's living the life that he wants to live. As he says, he's a survivor. Him and his pal, Lazaro, they fish every day looking for not just fish, but things they can sell. And they walk back to their house in Havana, and it's like a huge apartment building. And of course, they go upstairs and sun themselves on the roof every day and drink rum. Actually, not that bad of a life when you think about it, but they have their routine. Lazaro asks him, and this is subtitled, so you do have to do some reading. That's okay. We like to read, folks. Do you ever want to go to Miami? And Juan plainly says, and it stays throughout this film, no, I'm a survivor. This is my home. Capitalism might crush me. Juan has this routine, and it's pretty entertaining. The comings and goings of just walking from the ocean back to where he lives and the people that he runs into and the things that he does. And Lazaro, I really liked especially. Juan's an easy guy to like because he's just got this sense about him of... It's tough to define. He's serious, he's got a bit of humor, and he's always looking out for himself, which I'm assuming if you live in Cuba is something you have to do, especially if you're extremely poor living in Cuba. But Lazaro really gets me going because Lazaro, okay, more than once in this film we see him jerking off to beautiful women. He just has to get it done right there. And Juan kind of shrugs it off like, what the fuck are you doing? And these are grown men. These aren't young guys. I mean, they've got to be early 40s. Now, before the outbreak even happens, we get the background on these two guys. They kind of make their own path in life and set their own small fortunes and achieve them. Juan goes to see his daughter, who's apparently in town very briefly. Came back for some reason and is going to America to be with her mother. And he stops by, and you can tell he's not used to being a father, but you know just by his expressions and the way he's talking that he loves his daughter. He doesn't really know how to interface with her. And he tries to talk to her, and she's pretty much like, just forget me. Just forget me. You haven't been part of my life. I'm going to go be with mom. Don't worry about it. And you can see that it hurts him. So he goes back home, back up to the roof and starts drinking with Lazaro. And Lazaro's son, Vladi, is there. Vladi is kind of funny. He looks nothing like his father. He's about 2 feet taller with long flowing hair. Okay, Lazaro's funny to me because I used to work with a guy who looks just like him. So I liked him anyway, and I suspected that guy jerked off a lot too. So we've got Lazaro with his son, Vladi, who... obviously, you think, why the hell, this is not his son, but it is what it is. And Juan's daughter is Camilla. Cuba is what Cuba is. So they swing by this neighborhood watch one night. Okay, I need to put the group together because the group consists at this point of, it's got the concerned citizens, and in the back, probably 10, 15 feet away, is Juan, Lazaro, Vladi, and a very obvious transvestite named China. Which I don't know, probably. You're thinking the same thing I am. And they don't say if it's her boyfriend, but he comes off that way. He is a giant Goliath of a man, not far from Zeus, if you remember Zeus. He kind of looks like Zeus. His name is Primo. So they're all doing this, and they know each other. They're not like strangers to each other. They all live in the same building, and they're at this neighborhood watch thing, and the lady who's giving the speech because the man inside is sick is talking about stereos being stolen, and China's like, what? Okay, it's me. Talking to Juan. But I've got to take care of myself out here. It's me. And all of a sudden, from inside this house, you hear this guttural roar and pounding. And everybody's like, what the fuck? And, we know what it is. And the guy comes out and starts biting people. He bites one bites another, and they're just chewing and blood and chewing, and just shit's going crazy. And Juan's like, all right, let's go. Fuck it. And like, are we going to help? And he goes, fuck these guys. And Juan's approach to a lot of things in life is fuck these people. Or there was one great line I wrote down here on my notes. Here's an example of Juan that really made, and this was a funny movie. They pulled off funny and gory and good. Not many films do that, but this film did. One of the lines that had me, because I was literally LOLing. I was laughing out loud sitting here watching this today. They're in this room about to fight a bunch of zombies. Like 20 Spanish zombies are coming downstairs at them. And Lazaro says, things could be worse. And Juan says, how so? And the fucking lights go out. So they have to fight in the dark. And all you hear is Juan go, fuck your mother's heart. Fuck your mother's heart. I almost fell out of my chair. I was laughing so goddamn hard. So the zombie outbreak happens, and it's a rough deal when you're on an island, as you could imagine. And we know the Cuban government is like, no, first the approach is, oh, nothing's happening. Everything's fine, folks. There's been reports of some dissidents and some small localized uprisings, but nothing you need to be worried about. And then later on it becomes, well, there's terrorism going on in Cuba right now in Havana, funded by the American pigs. And they're more than willing to throw us under the boat, as you would expect them to do. And the government never really announces that what's going on. In fact, they encourage people to come down to the square and have a Cuba is awesome rally. And they show footage of it as people are just as citizens who were dumb enough to go are being ripped apart by zombies, which was really funny. So what does Juan do? He's an enterprising young man. What does he do? Well, they decide that since he's pretty good with a boat oar and Lazaro's good with machetes and so forth, they open a business unofficially called Juan of the Dead. And they put leaflets all over the city, and he answers the phone, Juan of the Dead, we kill your relatives, how may I help you? And people call him, summon him from around the city for a fee to kill the people in their house. Many times people they love. And this is all Juan really knows how to do, is to turn every situation into a money. And he's not like a scammer, but as a poor person would do, if things kept popping up that you could handle one way or another, you'd probably want to charge for these services so you could eat. Or in Juan's case, eat and buy rum, though rum is the first priority. The special effects in this film were really good. We see a lot of destruction around Havana, a lot of buildings going up in flames, buildings falling, all of which looked really good. And lately you guys have heard me piss and moan about people just fucking up these effects, but Juan of the Dead really got this right. The zombie effects were good. The kills in this movie were so creative, I can't even tell you. I'm not even gonna go into it. You'll see people killed in this movie in ways you've never seen before in any zombie film. Very creative. And my hat's off to the people that put this film together as far as, they sat down and said to themselves, how can we do this differently from what anybody's seen? And I love any zombie film that shows zombies underwater. Well, not any film, but I love seeing mass zombie groups underwater just roaming. I love that. To me, that's just brilliant. And I love to see zombies in the ocean, just at the bottom walking around, because that's what they would do. They wouldn't know I can't breathe under there anymore, and they'd be in the lakes and in the rivers and in the ocean, just walking around like, why am I walking so fucking slow? I'm walking slow for a fucking zombie. Try to punch somebody underwater. You know what I'm talking about. So I really did like this film. This movie becomes many things. It becomes the story of Cuba, how Cuba might handle a zombie apocalypse or any other major disaster. It becomes a story of Juan reconnecting to his daughter and coming to terms with the world that's right next door to you. Do you dare leave Cuba? Do you dare leave Havana? You can see Florida, but how's it going to be when you get there? Is it going to be worse? I would think probably yes. If this is an epidemic, yeah, I would think so. If it's something localized to Cuba, well, then yeah, maybe you want to get the fuck out of there. But this movie, the way it started out, kind of said to me that the disease came from America to Cuba. They find a zombie well out in the water before the outbreak really seems to hit Havana. So I'm thinking it came from the U.S., but they never really addressed that. And what I like about Cuba is, they always have the nice old cars. They have the beautiful cars from the 50s before all the bullshit went down. They show a lot of that in Godfather 2. They show a lot of it here. And they show some of the shitty Russian cars here, too, that are pretty funny. But Juan of the Dead mixed comedy. Okay, a few of the bits didn't quite work out, but some of that might be the language barrier. Like I said, this is subtitles. So maybe it's maybe it's them not picking the right words and me wanting to read other words. That could be the deal. But a lot of really nice architecture went on all around Havana. So, I mean, it is a nice film to watch just for the background scenery. But you mix in zombies, you mix in good, genuine, funny comedy that's not slapsticky, and this film really is a winner. So, without fucking it up anymore and ruining all the good bits for you, I would say you definitely want to see, if you like zombie films, you definitely want to see Juan of the Dead. On the Berdinsky, oh shoot, hold on, I gotta figure that out.
En el sistema de clasificación Berdinsky, esta película es una compra absoluta. Mick Pierce es el pingüino de Linux. Adiós.